Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Semoga keselamatan serta rahmat Allah senantiasa meliputi kita semua, dan semoga keberkahan senantiasa Allah berikan kepada kita atas apapun yang sedang kita usahakan, teman-teman, sehingga apapun itu akan terus mendorong kita untuk terus meningkatkan keimanan dan ketakwaan kita kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Nah, teman-teman, dalam video ini saya menghadirkan pengakuan dari seorang back lovers, ya, dimana ada keajaiban-keajaiban Al-Qur'an yang akhirnya mendorong dia untuk secara mantap, ya, yakin untuk memasuki Islam, karena ya rasa takjub yang luar biasa yang dia alami setelah mengetahui betapa indahnya isi Al-Qur'an yang menjelaskan fakta sains sekarang ini. Berikut penjelasannya.
Do you know why I accepted Islam? It was because so many scientific miracles that couldn't be explained were in that book. I challenge anyone that's listening to this. Google scientific miracles of the Holy Quran. So, for me, the reason I accept those stories of Jesus walking on water and bringing people back from the dead and Moses part of the Red Sea is not using my own logic. It's using X plus Y equals Z. I believe there is a God. There's enough scientific evidence, to me at least, to prove that there's a creator. Anything to be random, meaning if the sun wasn't where it is, the 7 layers of the atmosphere, trees give us oxygen, we give them what they need, and I can go on and on and on. Like thousands of points that need to be perfect for us to even exist and to be having this conversation right now.
Right.
Like millions of points that need to be in order for you to even exist, which makes me think of this verse from the Holy Quran of which of the favors of your Lord do you deny? And it goes through this whole list that God's basically
that's what I'm trying to get at.
speaking
Is
in
that
first person.
because it is so incredible that we are here and that we exist, and that we were the created. When was the first human? How was the first human created? How was the first plant photosynthesis? How does all this shit work?
I believe the earth was created long before humans. I've spoke about this in our episode when we did aliens and demons. A lot of this subject matter is there, and I don't want people to get bogged down on this episode, but we spoke about this on the last pod. So go back and check it out, folks. But
that was last December.
For me, for example, let's just pull up one of these. Go ahead, scroll down, buddy. Let me just give you an example of what drew me to Islam. Do the Big Bang Theory, number 2.
Big Bang.
Here we go. So in Surah Al-Anbiya, okay, also states, this is what God says in the Quran. Chapter 21, what did he do there? Okay, chapter 21 of the Holy Quran, verse 30. What did he do here? So, have those who disbelieved not considered that the heavens and the earth were a joint entity and we separated them. In 1929, American astronomer Edwin Hubble proposed the Hubble's law, according to which all entities in space are moving away from Earth at speeds proportional to their distance. The greater the distance from Earth, the faster they are moving. Soon after this, he discovered that galaxies are moving away from each other, meaning the universe is still expanding, right? Continue down. The Big Crunch theory, like all these things that are now being proven were in this book. This is the most fascinating one, by the way. This one blew my mind away.
Embryology?
And the Surah Mu'min, which means the chapter of the believer in Islam. It says in chapter 23 of the Quran, verse 12, we created man from an extract of clay. We made him as a drop in a place of settlement firmly fixed.
Yeah.
Then we made the drop into a leech suspended thing. He describes exactly.
Yeah. There's echoes of the Sumerian text in here.
The 4 stages of the human embryo. The first microscope didn't come out till 1,000 years later. How could he have known? A man that couldn't read or write. And it goes on and on. So I see all these scientific miracles. Okay, there was no way to have known. So I'm like, okay, I see this book sung by people without even looking at it, man. Every Ramadan, bro. Every Ramadan, I see people get up in front of the mosque and lead the prayer for the whole month. They're called Hafiz. They literally recite this book without seeing word for word. And if they make a mistake, there's 100, 500 people that know at least one of those everyone knows the verses. So I've witnessed many times in the last 42 years of my life where people pray then say the whole book. That's how God protected this book. That's why to me it blew my mind away as a Muslim. And that this religion said that God sent messengers and prophets throughout time all over the world. Throughout time. He didn't just pick one people. And my theory was the demonic realm shifted people away from God, through statues and idols throughout history. That's why a lot of the Anunnaki claims they make sense in some ways. But to me, that's just a deception of the devil using the same trick throughout time to get people away from the creator. I find scientific miracles in a book written by some guy in a cave that couldn't read and write. And even if he could, how the hell? There's like 100 to 200 scientific facts in that book that no one could have known. Like, for example, that the Dead Sea is the lowest point above sea level in the entire world. There was no way Muhammad could have known this. It's impossible. That's the same area that Sodom and Gomorrah, we believe, was smashed into the earth. That's why it's called the Dead Sea. And it turned out in the last century, we found out it is the lowest surface point on earth. How could the Prophet Muhammad have known that back then? There was no way to have measured that or known. Anywhere in the world, no one could have known that. So when I see scientific facts, I know algebra came from Islam. The science and the technology, where would we be without algebra right now? But we would be as advanced as we are?
I mean, is it possible that different parts of humanity and civilizations were more advanced mathematically or technically?
I agree.
Than we are today?
There was some fusion.
And we lost knowledge?
Absolutely. It's either that or there was civilizations or different species that were on this planet that were locked into another dimension. One of my theories of the pyramids, I just came up with this recently, because I was been looking for ways to describe it for a long time. And I kind of covered this on our episode, but there was one theory that I never said on your episode when we discussed, is it aliens or demons? And that was a really big episode that I had with you. I think it was one of three things. Either A, they had knowledge that we no longer have. B, it was the demonic realm, the same way Solomon had the power to command the demonic realm. We know that Pharaoh was doing black magic. We can see that in the movie 10 Commandments when he throws his rod and Moses throws their rods and he has sorcerers and magicians. And I do believe black magic's real, 100%. I believe you can summon and work with that dimension. I believe we're in an interdimensional war in the aspect of the demonic realm versus humanity. They want to destroy us since before we were even created, the devil species, but not all of them, because the Muslims don't believe that all of them are evil. So what I think is going on is that maybe the ancient Egyptians worked with the jinn, they worshipped them, they did sacrifices, whatever they did, and they got knowledge from that demonic realm. The same way I proved to you on your show that Jack Parsons was doing all this crazy shit with Aleister Crowley. He's the reason we went to space, brother. How did Jack Parsons get to space? He tells you himself. We were doing all these rituals and I was contacted by a being named Belial Dajjal. So just like we may have hypothetically advanced our technology today through demonic means, it's in Jack Parsons' autobiography. So for those of you that believe in that story, because I've seen your comments on my episode with Danny, if it worked now, imagine it, why wouldn't it work in the time of the Egyptians? To get knowledge that we don't possess, because that's what black magic is. You sell your soul to get knowledge or a power that you're not supposed to have. But you lose the hereafter. When you perform these rituals, you no longer have any shot of going to paradise. And I do believe there's groups of people that have sold their souls.
Where do you think this paradise is? Where do you think heaven is?
It's in a different dimension, I think. I think God is outside of the physical universe. Just like I'm outside of this pot. And God can see it. And that's why time doesn't apply, because they say time is circular once you're outside of it.
Nah, teman-teman, saya rasa cukup ya, teman-teman ya. Ada hal yang menarik di sini ya. Ini menurut pendapat saya ya. Bagaimana keajaiban-keajaiban Al-Qur'an yang beliau tangkap ini membuat dia akhirnya memutuskan untuk jadi mualaf, atau dalam hal ini artinya bahwa sebelumnya dia ini adalah sosok yang jauh dari Allah, dan setelah dia mendengarkan atau mengetahui keajaiban Al-Qur'an, dia pun beralih mendekat kepada Allah dan berusaha sekuat tenaga untuk terus mendapatkan ridhonya. Ini adalah sebuah sindiran untuk kita ya, karena ini video untuk kalangan muslim ya tentunya ya. Untuk muslim sendiri yang seharusnya dia start lebih dulu ya, lebih dulu mengenal Allah, harusnya ketika mengetahui keajaiban Al-Qur'an, dia harus lebih mendekat juga kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Ya, dan jangan mau kalah. Beliau menerangkan betapa luar biasanya keajaiban Al-Qur'an kepada yang lainnya ya. Untuk mewujudkan usaha dakwahnya dia, kita pun harus bisa untuk melakukan hal yang sama, karena jangan lupa di Al-Qur'an juga banyak perintah untuk dakwah atau tabligh ya. Mungkin ada puluhan ayat yang memerintahkan kita untuk seperti itu. Dan alhamdulillah, mari kita jadikan pelajaran ya dari ayat-ayat yang sempat disampaikan oleh beliau, karena memang dalam Al-Qur'an ada banyak ayat yang mengingatkan kita untuk senantiasa berpikir, teman-teman ya. Ya, sekian dululah dari saya, mudah-mudahan video ini bermanfaat. Saya tutup dengan doa kebaikan untuk bersama. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Semoga keselamatan serta rahmat Allah senantiasa meliputi kita semua, dan semoga keberkahan senantiasa Allah berikan kepada kita atas apapun yang sedang kita usahakan, sehingga usaha kita apapun itu akan semakin mendorong kita untuk semakin bersemangat beramal soleh lainnya. Assalamualaikum.